I want to come to you today with a very quick message. And I want to start by asking you a question. Where is your faith? Where is your faith? Okay, so one of my favorite Christian writers, his name is Timothy Keller. He has a podcast, and I was listening to it the other day, and he asked his audience the same question. Where is your faith? I thought to myself, where is your faith? What a great question to ask, because sometimes as Christians, we assume that faith is something that we have to try and get, or we have to try and grapple onto, or it's somewhere far away that we have to try and ask God to give us. But the question is, where is your faith? Which means that you must already have it. It's just that maybe you've lost it. Good morning, Parkside family. I hope that you are surviving, and I hope that you're doing well, despite where we are right now in the world. I've got a lot of questions. The first question I have is, are we on lockdown right now? Are we not? Can we go out? Can we not go out? Is it masks everywhere? Because I thought that you'd get a fine if you did, and I've been to Tesco with my mask, and I've seen people walking around without masks. So I'm just so confused. But even despite all of that, I really hope and pray that this period of lockdown and quarantine has given you an opportunity to spend more time with God, and also spend more time with yourself, which is also equally as important, and just to get your mind clear, because there's a lot of things right now that are very confusing. There's a lot of stress and panic out there right now. So I hope that you've been able to use this time to actually get your mind clear your mind, spend some time with yourself, work on projects that you really wanted to do, follow your passions, go on a hike, whatever it is that's your thing. I hope that you've been able to spend some time doing that, and also, more importantly, spending time with your family as well, even though they're probably driving you crazy right now. But I hope that you've been able to spend sufficient time with your family. Now, I want to come to you today with a very quick message, and I want to start by asking you a question. Where is your faith? Where is your faith? Okay, so one of my favorite Christian writers, his name is Timothy Keller. He has a podcast, and I was listening to it the other day, and he asked his audience the same question. Where is your faith? I thought to myself, where is your faith? What a great question to ask, because sometimes as Christians, we assume that faith is something that we have to try and get, or we have to try and grapple onto, or it's somewhere far away that we have to try and ask God to give us. But the question is, where is your faith? Which means that you must already have it. It's just that maybe you've lost it. And he goes on to talk about the difference between acting out of fear and actually acting out of faith by this definition. Faith and acting out of faith is acting out of the knowing and the truth of who God is. That hit me, because for so long I thought faith was something I had to try and harness or get, or it was deep down inside of me, and I was just trying to hold on to it, and actually practically applying it to situations and decisions that I had to make, especially decisions where I was fearful of the outcome and I wanted to rely on God. It was very difficult for me to activate faith because I just didn't know how to get it. But the truth stands that faith and acting out of faith is acting out of the knowing and the truth of who God is. Now, let's explore a story in the Bible where God asks his disciples that same question. And this story is found in Luke 8, 22 to 26. So the disciples are in the boat, as some of you know the story, and a huge storm comes and rocks the boat, and Jesus is actually asleep in the boat. And the funny thing about the story is I feel like it's metaphorically, it's very similar to the current climate of current affairs in the world right now. Anyway, so Jesus is asleep on the boat, and the winds of the waves have come, and the boat is up and down, tops and turfs. And the disciples shout out, "Master, Master, we're going to drown." And Jesus gets up quickly, rebukes the wind, the raging waters, and the storm subsided, and everything was calm. Then he turns to his disciples and he says, "Where is your faith?" Now, his disciples walked with him. They saw him heal the blind. They saw him heal the sick. They saw him do miracles, turn water into wine. They saw him raise people from the dead. And they still, in that moment, thought that their Father, the man who they had seen in all truth, who they had experienced in all truth, they still thought that he was not big enough at that moment to save them from drowning. Now, I know that deep down they probably thought about it if they deeped it at the time. But the reality of it is sometimes our fears can overcome us so much that we forget the truth of who God is. We forget the truth of the God that we serve. We have seen him throughout the Bible do many miracles and many things and highlight who he is. He says in the Bible, "I will never leave you or forsake you." He says that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. He says that you are the head and not the tail. He says that before you were even in your mother's womb, he knew you. These are all truths, and these are all knowings of who God is. Then you've got your experience, the times in which you've seen God come through for you, the times in which you've got down on bended knees and petitioned to God for various different things and situations you've got in your life. You've experienced the truth of who God is, just like the disciples walked with God, walked with Jesus on earth. So when fear comes, when situations happen where we struggle to activate our faith, just remember, and I encourage you all today to do this one thing: take a moment and pause and remember who God is. Remember the truth of the God that you serve. Remember the times he has come through for you in the past. Remember the promises that he has made within his word, and make your decision out of faith and not fear. Thank you very much.